Hey y'all, I'm back. I wanted to talk some more about that subject that I discussed a few weeks ago about people who spoil their children with material things. First of all, I want to make a couple of disclaimers. Number one, I'm not an expert in parenting or child care. Neither am I trying to hold myself out to be. I'm just a person who is basically expressing my opinions based on my experience and observations and dealings with people who have children. I'm just calling things like I see. So the other thing I want to say is that I don't see anything wrong with people giving their children luxuries, provided that they can afford it. If you're a person who is struggling to get by, you're the working class poor or lower middle class and living above your means without any savings, without any retirement savings, no health insurance, and basically living paycheck to paycheck, then I believe that it's foolish for people to be brand obsessed and wasting their money on things that they really don't need. But if you got it like that, if your money is long, you have generational wealth, and you can afford to buy Gucci, Prada, Jimmy Choo, Armani, any of these famous and luxury brands, Coach, Louis Vuitton, whatever, then there's nothing wrong with you splurging and spending money on these things. But otherwise, it's foolish. Well, I was thinking about this person who I mentioned in the last video that went school shopping for clothing for her daughter, and the daughter didn't appreciate it. That's a prime example of a person who is trying to live above her means and trying to basically impress others. In the United States, most people are in debt or basically just struggling to get by. Obviously, if this woman didn't have enough money saved up to go school shopping for clothing, she didn't have her priorities straight when she went and spent money on clothes rather than paying her bills. She probably doesn't have a budget set. So when she did that, she sent several bad messages to her daughter. By this woman going school shopping instead of paying her bills, she sent the message to her daughter that having your priorities straight is not important. Keeping up with your bills is not important. That material possessions like clothes and shoes and trying to impress others is more important than keeping a roof over your head and paying your light bill and buying food. Basic necessities aren't as important as material possessions to show off to your friends. She sent so many negative messages to her daughter and set such a poor example that I could probably give a litany of things that she did wrong, but now I'm trying to keep this video short, so I'm not going to do that. I had mentioned in the other video that I believe that the daughter and the mothers both succumb to peer pressure, keeping up with the Joneses, and worrying about what people think. I was thinking about that the other day. Do you think that people like Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and even Donald Trump got to where they are today by worrying about what others think about them? I mean, seriously, you will get nowhere in your life. You're probably going to be stuck on the same level as other people around you by worrying about what other people think. My thing is this: no matter what you do in this life, people are always going to find something negative to say about you. And you could be doing all the right things. You could be dressed to the nines from head to toe. And somebody is going to always find something negative to criticize you on. And even if they don't have something negative to say about you, as far as the way you're dressed or what you're wearing, they're going to think of something bad to say. People should raise their children to not worry about what people think, because you can't please people. You'll never be happy in your life if you steady worrying about what people think. People are probably not worried about what you think of them. Teach your kids to have mental toughness and resilience, because when a child is going to school, they're probably going to be bullied and made fun of. So my thing is that parents should focus on teaching their kids to have tough skin, mental toughness and resilience, and to know how to stand up for themselves. No child should have to worry about being bullied when they're trying to go to school and get an education. A parent should teach their child how to respect themselves and to defend themselves and to stand up for themselves, rather than teaching them that what they wear is more important than what's inside of them, and that what others think about them is important. I'm not saying that you shouldn't worry, you shouldn't have a conscience, or that you should not care at all about what people think, but don't let what others think about you be a complete driving force in your behavior, and don't allow others to control you, to control your actions and your decisions based on what they think about you. That's what I'm saying. In her situation, obviously, she couldn't afford to buy clothing, so it's like she was buying clothing for the purposes of trying to impress others and to put up this false facade of success. Because here in the United States, people use brands and material possessions as a measuring stick for a certain level of success or prestige. And a lot of people basically are just putting up a front. They're faking it. They're flossing and flexing when they're living paycheck to paycheck. I have recorded this video last year about jealousy of people's material possessions. And in that video, I mentioned that, it's silly to be jealous of other people's material possessions, because you don't know what these people are doing to acquire these possessions. They could be doing double shifts on a job to drive a Mercedes Benz and be in major debt. Or they could be doing something illegal like selling dope. It's just ridiculous to judge people by their material possessions rather than their character. And people need to really teach their children positive values like a strong work ethic, self-discipline, determination. Cultivate those positive attributes instead of succumbing to that materialistic thinking and excessive consumerism. If you can't afford it, you just can't afford it. It's just simple as that. And worrying about what people think is not going to help you. And not only that, when you overspend on these material possessions, all you're doing is making someone else rich and making yourself poor, especially if you can't afford it. Like I said before, it's not so much what you're wearing, it's more about your character. And I think people should be trying to cultivate positive character traits in their children, rather than having their children grow up thinking that what they're wearing is important. That's really superficial. Somebody could be dressed to kill and have no ethics, no morals, no compassion or love for anybody else but themselves. And that brings me to another point. In this situation, this woman wasn't really, I don't think she was really spoiling her child so much as she was teaching her child to espouse the wrong values by example. But people who spoil their children, another way that they go wrong, that they can go wrong, is by inadvertently making, if they're not building up those positive character traits that I was talking about before, and they're just buying whatever the child wants, then they're training the child to depend on others and to expect others to provide what they want. And obviously that's a problem, because truth be told, it's every man for himself out there in these streets. And if someone grows up thinking that others are responsible for their health and their well-being and their welfare, then they're totally screwed, because people put themselves first. And most people just barely want to take care of their own kids. So that's just food for thought. All right.